In a new development that adds further excitement to the story of Manchester City and Spain midfielder Rodri's move to Real Madrid, concurrent Spanish media reports have revealed that Manchester City's management has set a price of €80 million to sell the player to the Royal Club, but Real Madrid does not agree to pay this amount, as they believe that the player's current situation, whether due to his age or the remaining time on his contract, makes this figure exaggerated. This places the English club before two choices: either accept Real Madrid's offer or lose him for free next year. According to information published by Mundo Deportivo, negotiations between the two clubs are still ongoing to reach an agreement regarding the Rodri deal. City want to receive €80 million to sell the player to the Spanish giants, but Real Madrid consider this figure exaggerated for more than one reason. This comes at a time when the Royal Club is seeking to strengthen their midfield with the Spanish player, who is in the best period of his career after winning the 2026 World Cup and receiving the tournament's Best Player award. Negotiation details and reasons for disagreement. Sources revealed that the first reason for Real Madrid's refusal to pay the €80 million is that Rodri is 30 years old, making it difficult to pay such a figure for a player of that age, especially given the club's cautious financial policy in recent years. The second reason is that Rodri's contract with City has only 1 year left, meaning City have no choice but to sell him this summer to avoid losing him for free afterwards, giving the Royal Club a strong bargaining chip in the negotiations. Real Madrid continue to pressure City's management to accept the offer they have submitted, which ranges between €50 and €60 million, a figure they consider fair for the player, especially given his contractual situation and age. The Royal Club appears determined not to exceed this amount, capitalizing on City's need to sell the player this summer and the player's own desire to move to Madrid. Rodri's stance increases pressure on Manchester City. Amidst these negotiations, the player's stance has been clear, refusing to renew with City and expressing his desire to leave for Real Madrid. This places additional burden on the English club, leaving them with two choices: either accept Real Madrid's offer or see him move there next year on a free transfer. This firm stance from the player gives Real Madrid an additional advantage in the negotiations, as the Royal Club knows that City will eventually be forced to accept a lower offer than they hoped to avoid losing the player for free next season. Furthermore, Rodri's back injury, which will require surgery and rule him out of the start of the season, could be an additional factor pushing City to accept Real Madrid's offer, especially as they would be losing the services of an injured player for an extended period, which could affect his market value in the future. However, on the other hand, Real Madrid appear confident in the player's ability to recover and return to his normal levels, seeing this deal as a long-term investment to strengthen the midfield. Situation analysis: who will win this battle? In analyzing the situation, Real Madrid appear to hold several winning cards in these negotiations, most notably the player's desire to move, the short remaining time on his contract, and the club's readiness to withdraw from the deal if their offer is not accepted. These factors combined give the Royal Club a strong position and could force Manchester City to make significant concessions to reach an agreement. On the other hand, Manchester City are trying to get the highest possible financial return from selling their star, especially as they have invested heavily in him since his arrival in 2019 and have won numerous trophies with him, including the Premier League and the Champions League. But with his contract nearing its end and the player's insistence on leaving, it appears the English club will eventually be forced to accept a lower offer than they hoped to avoid losing the player for free next season. What next? Will the deal be finalized soon? Rodri's future remains suspended between Manchester City's desire to receive €80 million and Real Madrid's insistence on not paying more than €60 million. The coming days will be decisive in determining the fate of this deal, especially as the summer transfer window approaches its end and both parties wish to resolve the situation as soon as possible. All indicators suggest that the negotiations will witness new developments in the coming days and that the deal may eventually be finalized at a middle price that satisfies both parties, especially given the mutual desire to complete the deal and avoid a prolonged crisis that could affect both teams' preparations for the new season.